If you understand that emotions are simply memories of a system of structured meanings, you now understand that when you want to communicate a message to someone and you want that message to stick, you have to organize that message in a way that it will become attached to a system of meaning that can get that person to feel a certain way whenever they get that message. Hi, thanks again for joining me in this edition of Clear Thinking Digest. In the previous video, I talked about the importance of understanding how to manage ideas, but more importantly, the importance of understanding how to communicate that idea, and that is what I call idea inception. The mechanism of getting to communicate your idea, to plant your ideas into other people's minds successfully. Now, when I talk about planting ideas into other people's minds, I'm not talking about a nefarious thing that is evil, that people do, that is not supposed to be done. Practically, that's if you take every aspect of our lives, that is actually what we do. That's what we do in schools. That's what we do in church, in our mosque, in the media. When you read books, that's what's happening. As a matter of fact, we as a species cannot survive. We cannot collaborate and effectively and efficiently if we don't communicate effectively through idea planting, through idea inception. We developed the intelligence to be able to take ideas and communicate them and then plant them in other people's minds so that we can take on a particular course of work as a group, as a people, collectively, and then take that idea or that work, that project from one point and then take it to its final conclusion. That is how we survived. So it's not an evil thing, it's not a bad thing, but it's just that we have to understand how ideas work and how we can successfully plant them in other people's minds. So I want to focus on a particular statement that I made in the previous video. And I talked about that if you want to successfully plant an idea in someone's mind, you have to understand how to encode that idea in the data form that it is supposed to work, that is going to work and get the results that you want in the mind of the person that you're communicating the idea to. And I mentioned that emotional ideas, emotional messages, they have better effect on people than rational ideas, on rational messages. And the reason is simple, because when you communicate emotional messages, they don't come to the conscious mind. They go to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind operates in such a way that it hijacks our immune system and it takes over us. So we don't have direct access to it. It actually runs 95% of our lives. But rational concepts, rational messages get filtered by the conscious mind. So because we evolved the prefrontal cortex that allows us to process information, we can filter rational messages out. So when we talk about rational messages, are messages that deal with, let's say, logic and reason. But emotional concepts, emotional messages are the things that speak to our subconscious mind, that speak to the deepest part of us. If you want to learn how to incept ideas, you want to learn how to convert your messages from a rational concept to an emotional concept. So when I posted that video, a lot of people asked me, then how do you do this? How do you successfully do this? Now, I want to share a little bit advice and I want to share a little bit on that. To successfully communicate your ideas, to plant ideas in other people's minds and convert your message, your concept from a rational concept to an emotional concept, you have to understand, first of all, what an emotion is. So I define emotions as simply structured memories that are created from structured meanings, a system of structured meanings. So what do I mean by that? When you think of a particular thing that makes you feel anyhow, a good example, let's say when you take up a photo of your high school days, when you were in secondary school, and you see that image on that photo, you and your friend, the feeling that happens, and you smile, maybe you smile, or you panic, or you feel sad, the feeling that you get from looking at that photo it's a memory. Once you look at that photo, it reminds you of an information, an event with pictures and images in your mind of something that happened in the past. So that is a memory. Now, how you react to that picture depends on the meaning behind that memory, that image that you have, that you got in your mind, that picture, what it actually sends out, the meaning that you attach to it. So you say you get a photo of your girlfriend in high school and you loved her so dearly, and maybe unfortunately she passed away. You look at that photo, you smile, it takes you back to your school days, and you get a surge of feelings, of emotions, of all the things that actually happened during those days when you guys were in school. But you remember that she's dead now. Then you feel sad about the whole emotion. So what it happens is that when you saw that picture, it triggered all the meanings, all the memories, all the images. But as it was triggering all those images, also you were feeling simultaneously all the feelings that were attached to those images. And those feelings come from the meaning that you have attached to them. So a meaning is a form of energy. It is an energy, an intelligent energy that has been stored. So when you see memories, you feel the energy that those memories carry. When you see a memory, when you remember a memory, you feel the energy that the memory carries. So emotions are simply a system of these memories that brings to bear structured meanings. So these meanings are structured. They're intelligently, they are arranged in different formats, and they remind us and they elicit within us. Whenever we remember them, they elicit within us different kinds of feelings, different kinds of body movements, and all of this come to bear at the same time. That is what an emotion is. If you understand emotion this way, if you understand that this is what an emotion is all about, you are one step closer to understanding how to convert a rational concept to an emotional concept. So how do you do that? And what do I mean by that? If you understand that emotions are simply memories of a system of structured meanings, you now understand that when you want to communicate a message to someone and you want that message to stick, you have to organize that message in a way that it will become attached to a system of meaning that can get that person to feel a certain way whenever they get that message. So what it means is that if a leader wants to, let's say he wants to push for economic reforms, but he's not going to talk about pushing for economic reforms from a rational perspective of saying, we need to fix our railways, we need to increase taxes, he doesn't have to put it that way. He would need to convert that message to an emotional one. And how does he do that? He has to look for something that those people hold dear, something that those people attach strong meaning to. Let's say something that deals with their religion. Let's say something that deals with their cultural heritage. And he has to say that if we raise taxes on how people, use our resources, then we will be able to preserve our cultural heritage. So when he's talking about raising taxes, he's not going to talk about raising taxes directly. He's going to talk about cultural heritage. So you see his messages hampering on cultural heritage. And the people, when they hear this, they feel concerned. They feel that it's personal. And you will feel that he's just talking about cultural heritage, maintaining and sustaining the cultural heritage. But, well, in fact, that is not what he's aiming at. He's talking about making tax reforms for economic reasons or for personal reasons, any of those. Now, if he successfully does that, by talking about cultural heritage, the people are going to feel personal about the message and they're going to take it seriously. So he has successfully converted that rational concept that talks about an economic concept into an emotional concept of something that people hold dear about the cultural heritage. So this is just a classical example of how this is done. And you see this written all over the places. I don't even think that there are people who understand how to do this very well as politicians. Like, politicians are very good, are really good at this. No, they know how to convert rational concepts into emotional concepts. That is why you see politicians always dealing with issues of racism, of ethnicity, of religion, and you see them, they're always mumbling those issues up and mumbling them up with economic issues or with educational issues and all of that. That is because they have understood, they have mastered the art of how to convert a rational concept into an emotional concept. So how do you now do this? I just laid out the classical example of how this is applied in the real world. But how do you now do this if you want to apply it in your life? There are key items that I have highlighted that you can use to do this. So I'm going to lay out one of them here. And the first is storytelling. You see, storytelling is a very powerful tool when it comes to converting irrational concepts to an emotional concept. Storytelling allows you to take the person that you are communicating this on a journey that triggers a lot of images, pictures, and that also connects different kinds of meaning that the person actually shares. And then you connect all of those meanings to different memories that will allow the person to see the full ramification of what you're talking about. So storytelling is a very powerful way of converting a rational concept to an emotional concept. In the next video, I'm going to talk about other ways that you can convert a rational concept to an emotional concept and then successfully insert an idea in other people's minds. Thank you so much for joining me today in this edition of Clear Thinking Digest, and I will see you again next week.